Record. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Okay, good. I had it turned around. Well, welcome to Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. We're so happy that you're joining us today. We have a great show. We're going to be starting out with a group that's going to be, or an organization here that's going to be performing for us today too, so that's going to be fun. My guests today will be starting out with Schenectady Light Opera, and they're going to be talking about West Side Story. And we have two young performers that will be singing tonight, which of course is a beautiful song. And then we'll be talking with a guest from my side. We're going to be talking about that science festival that's coming up. This is going to be an amazing event, and it's open to everybody to come and really enjoy, no matter what your age is. We will also be talking about Telebration, where if you love storytellers, Kate Dunning is going to be here. She's actually telling a story about Fatima, which is a story about a Muslim woman. And this is going to be kind of a prelude to the Telebration that's coming up on the 12th. Peter Jones is here talking about the Concern for the Hungry. We're going to be talking about their big event in November, where they fix, I think he said, 2,300 dinners. I mean, they don't fix the dinners, they fix the boxes so you can fix the dinner. So anyway, so if you're complaining about fixing a dinner for 10, imagine what these guys are doing. And then we're going to be talking with an organizer for the Museum for Political Corruption. Now, I'm sure that just doesn't work for you, but it happens, you know. And we're going to be talking about the Nellie Bly Award. We'll find out who Nellie Bly is, by the way. And then Angela Paone is here, and we're going to be talking about Schenectady County Recycles. And you can go through your house, and anything you can recycle, she's going to tell you what you can recycle. Our breaks today are from an organization over in Albany who does recycling and composting and ecological sustainability. And we'll be showing that for breaks. But right now we're going to start out with our guest from the Schenectady Light Opera. We have Suzanne Rayom. She is the director. Amy Clark is a co-producer. Michael Latano is the musical director. Nick Controy, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes. Nick
yes.
Controy.
Okay, good. The French has a French sound to it, yeah. Okay, and he plays Tony, and then Claire Flynn plays Maria. And be sure to use your microphone if you speak. Okay, good. So let's start out with what's this about?
Oh my goodness! Well,
does anybody not know what it's about?
If they don't, they've been living under a rock. Certainly, we go back all the way back to William Shakespeare and the Tale of Romeo and Juliet, and I am just thrilled that our students even knew about this show coming in. It is a classic based on that tale and contemporized in 1957 in the streets and on the streets of New York City.
With the Sharks and the Jets?
Sharks and the Jets are our two gangs that are battling it out, yes.
And they dance?
Oh my goodness, the dancing, and it's incredible.
Who's the choreographer?
Her name is Trish Scott Dembling.
Okay.
She's done a fantastic job. Yes. But you know, this show is probably one of the toughest to tackle in all of musical theater. I've directed a lot of shows.
Well, there's a lot of sets.
A lot of sets. The music is just brilliant, but extremely difficult. Michael can tell you about that. So we were very, very fortunate. We had over 80 students audition for this show.
Oh, wonderful.
And we
so
have a
tough
cast
to pick out.
Oh my goodness, yes. Cast of 30.
Yeah.
And these kids, they have voices of angels. They're just brilliant.
Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're very lucky to have the best of the best from the whole Capital District.
Yeah, and they come from all over to come in, to be in these productions.
Oh, so diverse. We have students coming from Broadalbin, Perth, Hoosick Valley, and then suburban council schools, of course, Shen, Shaker, Burnt Hills.
Yeah. And how are you getting along with this show?
Oh, it's a large undertaking, but thankfully I'm supposed to take this. Thankfully, I have help in my co-producer Michael Camello, but it's been a joy and a pleasure to get to know the students and work on this project.
When you've got 30 students you're working with and trying to make sure that everything comes together, it must be quite difficult.
It is, but I think we're handling it okay. What would you guys say? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, good. I want to have them perform and then we can talk about this afterwards. So Michael, can you set this up for us?
Sure, we're going to be having Tony and Maria sing the balcony scene.
Tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Yes, this is like Romeo and Juliet.
Iconic.
Right? Why, you're gonna sit there and sing, or you're gonna stand up here?
We're going to stand.
Yeah, good.
One down in front.
Let's see if your mic's full. Where are they standing? Everybody knows?
Right up here, yeah.
Right up here. I hope those lines are long enough. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, and you have to step back a little bit so the cameras can catch you.
There's nothing for me but Maria. Every sight that I see is Maria.
Tony, Tony.
Always you, every thought I'll ever know. Everywhere I go, you'll be. What was just a world is a star Tonight, the world is full of light, with suns and moons all over the place. Tonight, tonight, the world is wild and bright, going mad, shooting sparks into space. Today, the world was just an address, a place for me to live in, no better than alone. But here you are, and what was just a word is a
Oh my God!
Bravo.
Wow!
Bravo.
Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh,
So, Ann, you can see we have true songbirds, 30 kids that all have voices just like this.
Oh my God! I don't know how you selected any of them. Oh my gosh! I mean, because it was like you need to throw them up in the air because they were all so good.
Excellent. They're excellent. They're excellent.
I do want to tell, we're almost out of time, I can't believe that. But anyway, we want to remind them that it's the Schenectady Light Opera. It's going to be from November 10th through the 19th. You have Sunday matinees.
We do, and I would encourage your guests to get their tickets right away. We have sold out the first weekend already. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday performances are sold out. Thank you. People really should get their tickets right away if they want to come for the next weekend, 16, 17, 18, or 19.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. That tells you a lot about, first of all, the performers that are appearing and also the type of production that you're putting on. And every production, they just did Cabaret. I mean, every production I've ever been to there has always been spot on.
They are.
Spot on.
Our sets, our lighting, just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. What a team you guys are. It's wonderful. So go see the place. It's over at 427 Franklin Avenue. It's the former St. John the Baptist complex. So and they've got a wonderful theater, and the seating is great because it's all tiered now. So if you went before and it was flat, you can come now and it's tiered. You're going to love it. So thank you all for being here. And you guys are fantastic.
Thank you so much.
How long have you been performing?
Oh, my first show was in 6th grade, so
Oh
ever
my
since
God.
then.
Well, you got a great voice. And you?
I've been performing ever since I was 7.
Oh, you guys. And what was your first production?
Joseph and the Amazing
Oh, I
Technicolor
love
Dreamcoat.
that.
Great
Oh,
show.
I love that one. Oh, so great. Such a great show. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to learn about ecological sustainability on the break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the MySci and their science festival. Thank you all for being here. You are wonderful.
Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you
Much
so much.
appreciated always.
Yeah, no, I love the.
And so bioremediation as well is making good compost. Did Juniper talk much about compost bioremediation in her presentation? So bioremediation obviously is a really complex field. There's a lot of variables, a lot of factors that are going to determine what to do and whether it's going to be successful or not. But one thing that I commonly recommend to people is if you have property that's used to spraying yourself from these contaminants, particularly if it's lead that's in the soil, it prevents it from becoming dust-borne and getting onto clothes and being inhaled and being ingested, which is a major route for it to affect children, particularly who are particularly at risk for lead contamination. So it's going to cover it up. It's also going to bind it up. Lead readily, it's what is called lipophilic. It really likes to bind with fatty tissues, which is why it's such a problem for kids, and that it binds with our brain tissue, which is made up of a lot of fat cells. So it will form actually organic compounds with the organic matter that is in compost. And when it's bound up in like that, it's going to be in a form where it's unavailable for assimilation. So if it did happen to be accidentally ingested, it would be more likely to pass through us rather than bind with the tissues
Right on
in
the
our
set.
own body. So another good reason to.
And here we are back again. And with me, it's my extreme pleasure. It's the first time she's been on the show. We have Rashni Bamwani. Did I get that right? And she is the coordinator of the Science Festival. I can't even imagine trying to coordinate so many days with so many events.
Most
You
days
got
I can't
snakes
imagine
and you
either.
got birds and you got, hopefully not together, but.
No, sometimes they're together. They're
Okay.
great groups, Uncharted Wild
Yeah.
and Whispering Willow Wild Care, and the group's actually, I believe Uncharted Wild, the owner, started out as a volunteer for Whispering Willow Wild Care, so
Oh,
they're
okay.
both wonderful and they work together really well, and we're really happy to have them for the
We
second year
got
in a
some
row.
great photos that we'll be
Yes,
showing
yeah.
some of those. So tell me, what was the concept of the Science Festival? This isn't your first one, but so.
Yes, this is my second time
Yeah.
doing the Science Festival at my side, but it is our 5th Science Festival at the museum. And the idea is to really just promote the idea that science is fun.
It is fun.
It is fun. And, you know, science is everywhere. It's all around us. So you can just find, you know, that we have organizations that come in from all around the community, and we want them to, we want to showcase all the organizations around us that are doing science-based
Curriculum,
or
even
or
educational programs.
yeah, or even just work. So
Yeah.
we have groups like Regeneron, they're pharmaceuticals, and they come in
Yeah.
and they do different things. So, you know, you don't always think of the pharmacy with the science, but there it is. So you can see
I'm a
science
pharmacist, so that's, I certainly do feel that way, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, science.
Yeah,
Science
I was
everywhere.
a math and science major, so it's always, I love science. You know, you can't, there isn't anything in science I don't love, whether we talk about climate change or we talk about animals or growth, and we're going to talk about recycling and composting, and
Yes.
that all has to do with science.
It definitely does. And I'm actually not from a science background. I come from an art history background.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, oh.
So a lot of times for me, it's like if I can understand it and I think it's fun, then I think it's going to be great at the
Yeah.
Science Festival. Because ultimately, I think that science literacy is really important. Just
So
overall.
important. So, you know, and the thing is that, I mean, you're an art history major, but, you know, I've always loved science, but sometimes you use the word science and kids glaze over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's got to be hard. But it's fun.
I was definitely one of those kids.
You were one of them. Oh, so now we know. But look where you are now.
I know. We still can't believe it. But
Yeah,
but
your parents are still going, what?
Yeah. So yeah, I ended up at my sci and love it there, and yeah, and I just realized how much, and also how much it's related to art and how much art there is in science.
Well, they talk about STEM, meaning science, technology, engineering, and math. But now they want to stick that little A in there for STEAM,
yes,
and say that art is important.
It is, and a lot of times we use art to show the science concepts, and you really can't have one without the other. Even just color. Color is a scientific principle, you know. And
absolutely. I've done chromatography,
Yes.
And I mean, you need to see the colors tell you what's in there.
Yes, and we will have chromatography this year.
Yes, see, I knew.
So yes, so we are actually opened up this year. We expanded to STEAM because we wanted to really get all the different groups in. So we wanted to encourage all of our participants, our partners as we call them, to think about the arts as they consider the STEM as well.
Sure, and it does work together. Now, I guess what I really want you to explain to our audience, or to our viewers, what age groups are you looking at?
Oh, all age groups. We have things for everyone. We have a neat thing this year called Cubetto, which is coding for the pre-K age group.
Oh, nice,
so,
nice. Get them started
early. Yeah. But we also have things like our Hot Topics in Science forum on Sunday, which is going to be looking at things like climate change, the future of technology.
And how can it be denied? I mean, it's like the last, I just saw on the BBC News feed this morning, the last 3 years of the 3 warmest years in history.
Yeah, so definitely.
And we're talking about like a half a degree change can melt those ice caps. It can do all the things that we don't want to have happen.
Right, because it's a circular process. Everything affects something else. So, the ice caps melt, you get the oceans rising. And
we're going to find out that Hawaii's not going to be there anymore, and maybe half of Manhattan will be gone,
Yes. So we're definitely looking at climate change on Sunday, and also ethics in science and the future of technology. So that's an adult program, and we also get a lot of grandparents who come not only to bring their grandkids,
too, right?
but then they end up learning as well.
And you've got something for teachers too. What do you have?
Yes, we have our STEM Summit Professional Development Program tomorrow night, but they can still register online, and that is a professional development workshop where we have different organizations come in and lead the workshop. So actually, the Schenectady County Recycles, who is coming on later today, is leading one of our workshops, which is going to be great. She's got a lot of registrants already. And we also have a group called EverFi, and we have Tech Valley Game Space coming on, and we also do our own workshops as well between my sci and the Dudley Observatory.
Yeah, and there's so many. I mean, you have the Challenger Young. I mean, there's just so much going on. You can just immerse yourself in the museum, and I've said this every time you guys come on. If you said, oh yeah, I was there a couple of years ago.
And everything changes every day. We have a lot of new partners this year. In fact, I think most of our partners are actually new this year. So that'll be something interesting. And every day we have different partners. So you can definitely come back and see different things on a different day.
And it's great. And then you're going to be doing more with Dudley. I think you're going to be expanding that in the future.
Yeah, that's something that we're all looking forward to.
And you got the planetarium.
Yes,
is that going to be open during the...
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, planetarium shows are running. Challenger Adventure missions are running, and we also have live stage shows in our festival tent, again with the live reptiles and the wild birds. We also have a group called Audio Body. They do high-tech comedy.
I wondered about that. I saw the pictures, and I guess they've been showing the pictures as we've been talking. So.
Yeah. So they should be a really interesting group. And we also have a guy named the Dirtmeister, Steve Tomasek, who's doing science around the house. And he's just a really interesting guy who used to work on Magic School Bus, which was one of my favorite shows growing up. So
oh, that's so neat.
So I was like, you must come.
But you've got a nice lineup for everyone to participate and have the kids see why science can be fun. And I know that I don't think you've had the Invention Convention yet, have you?
That was earlier this year.
This year you did,
but,
you'll be doing it again next year.
Next year. Definitely time to start thinking about your inventions. Yeah, because the submission process will start in a couple months. I believe in March.
Yeah, and that's always exciting. I mean, it's please infuse your kids with science. Infuse them because it's all around us. Whether you look at water as ice or steam, I mean, that's science.
Yep, yeah, yeah. And, you know,
It's
everything around us.
a simple way of getting your kids thinking about science. I mean, they're going to put an ice cube in, and that was water at one time.
Right, yeah, or dry ice where
Dry
it
ice,
supplements.
well, yeah,
so.
exactly. So there's so many things that you as parents or grandparents or caregivers can kind of infuse your kids with science in everyday life. Just do it. And, you know, it's so important. It's so much fun.
It is, yep.
Yeah, thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event, and please mark your calendars. There is a fee, isn't it, to get into the museum?
Admission, free
admission.
All of it comes with admission.
Everything is
except for the
part of the admission.
Planetarium and Challenger Learning Center, which is their typical regular fees.
Right, and if you want to, you can go to my webpage, and my webpage, and look under newsletters, and you'll find all this information on there, as well as I will be posting it on Facebook. So it is available. Go to their website. There's no reason for you not to find out what's going on, right?
Not at all. No,
Good.
there's plenty of information on our website.
Yeah, I hope to see you next year. Are you going to do a bigger one? Or?
I'm always trying to make it bigger and better.
Bigger and better. And I love the way she snuck that art in there.
I had to.
Prashni, it was such a pleasure to meet you and to know that you're on board with my site and getting this festival going. So get your tickets, go in, have a good time. And, you know, enjoy it yourself if you're an adult, you know.
Yes, definitely. There's plenty there for adults
There's
to enjoy as well.
a lot to learn, right? Yeah. No kidding. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be hearing from Kate Dunning. She'll be talking about celebration and a story about Fatima. So stay tuned. And I'm Ann Pearl, your host for Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. Great.
To apply compost. Thirdly, compost creates habitat for many of the beneficial microorganisms that are going to be playing active roles in bioremediation. So we talk about, we're going to be making compost tea and show you how to actually culture microorganisms, or there's even a method called microremediation. We're using fungi to break down certain types of toxins. None of those methods are going to work unless there's a medium for them to actually be surviving in, and good compost is an excellent medium for that. And many of those.
Well, if you like stories, mark your calendar for the 12th of November and they have a new starting time at 3:30. It's at the GE Theater here.
Yes.
Kate Dunning, I love her stories. Every time she comes on, she tells me something that makes me want to cry, or you bring out some emotion in me when your stories.
I try to tell stories that touch people's hearts.
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. You want to start right out with a story?
Okay.
Let's do it.
In case you don't know what a story is, here's one.
Okay.
Did you know that most religions have a golden rule? The Muslim version is, none of you truly believes until you wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. This is a story of one woman who follows that golden rule. In July of 2015, 9 people were shot and murdered in the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. And as if that wasn't awful enough, subsequently, several black Christian churches were burned down. When a church is destroyed, their community has nowhere to meet, just at a time when they really need to get together. And of course, it takes a long time to raise enough money to rebuild a church. So this young woman, Fatima Knight, responded to this disaster. At the time, she was a 23-year-old Muslim theology student born in Brooklyn. She started an online fundraiser called Rebuild with Love. She wanted to raise $10,000 to help rebuild the churches. So that was her initial goal, but it was met and exceeded within 12 hours. So she had to come up with a new goal. It was one of those fundraisers where you have to meet your goal in order to get any of the money. So she didn't want to make it too big, but she didn't want to make it too small. So she decided,
10,000 in 12 hours, well, 50,000 in the month. That was met in less than 2 weeks. So again, she had to agonize over how much, and she decided $100,000, 10 times her initial goal, and it was met. This happened to be the month of Ramadan that year. Muslim calendar is lunar, so the holidays shift throughout the seasons over the 12 or 13-year cycle. But it was the traditional, it was the sacred month of Ramadan, where traditionally Muslims donate to charity. Charity is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. She wrote afterwards, I created the fundraiser because I wanted to give hope in a time of fear, and I wanted to stand up for those who had suffered injustice. Aren't those wonderful goals? To give hope in a time of fear and to stand up for those who have suffered injustice? Of course, any of you who have donated time, money, goods to any of the disasters that have been hitting this country, weather or the mass murders, you too have followed those goals. You've given hope in a time of fear, and you've stood up for those who have suffered injustice. Those words kept on going through my head, popping up day after day, along with her other sentence of, all houses of worship are sacred. They must be rebuilt, and you can help. And finally, I realized they were just saying the Muslim golden rule in a different way. None of you truly believes until you wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. However, Fatima took it one step further. She acted.
What a wonderful story. When we hear so much of negativity about, you know, Muslims, when you realize that it's a perverted acts that are creating this disharmony in our world.
The Dalai Lama said that true Muslims do not do acts of terrorism. You can't be religious if you do acts of terrorism. It's inconceivable.
They're hiding under an umbrella that they should not be there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I think the stories that you hear at Telebration, this title is called Challenges, is that correct? So you're having a number of storytelling.
Yes, we're starting with a humorous story, a folk tale from the Kurdish tradition. And then we have a number of historical stories. Mine is historical, but it starts in 2010, so it's
not that historical.
It's not that historical, and it goes up to the current day. And we have some personal stories also.
Well, and the important thing I think about storytelling for anyone who, whether you're listening to Native American stories or stories your grandmother told you or stories at the Telebration or any other storytelling event, it brings us all together.
Yes.
Because the stories that we hear, we all go, oh yeah, I understand. And I think that's the most important thing about storytelling.
The shortest distance.
Unless it's Jack and the Beanstalk, but I
well, that's a learning
some messages there.
Yes, but I have a bumper sticker that says, the shortest distance between two people is a story.
Yeah.
And we pride ourselves in all the productions we do at Proctor's. We do Telebration, and then we do a series at 2 o'clock.
Oh, you do the Glenn Sanders too for dinners.
Right. But upstairs in the gallery, the Fenimore Gallery, at 2 o'clock on Sundays.
Yeah.
We're telling stories that celebrate the human spirit.
Yeah, yeah. I love your story.
Thank you.
I do. And she sends out a newsletter. If you can get on her mailing list, get on her mailing list. Because her stories there are just wonderful as well. It brings us all together, and I think at a time that we're living in right now, we need more stories of togetherness and bringing us together and to understand other people and what they're, we're not so far apart if we would just look.
Once you hear someone's story, you can no longer hate them.
No.
You may not like them, but you understand, oh, that's why.
Yeah, you see another perspective.
Yes.
And I love your stories, and I love everything you do. And Joe Doolittle,
yes.
You're doing it over at Arthur's on the first Tuesday?
Tonight,
Yeah.
the first Tuesday of the month. Kate Danaher, who tells Irish stories in an Irish brogue. She's
love that.
taken over the stories of an Irish storyteller who has died, and she's
Wonderful.
keeping his tradition alive.
See, I mean, it's just, they're great. And take some time, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. You know how your kids used to say, read me a story before I go to bed? Well, this is somebody now that's going to read you a story. Not read it, but they're going to tell you a
Yes.
story. How's that?
Very good.
And I do want to remind you again, when it is, it's going to be at the Celebration 2017 Challenges. And that will be at the GE Theater on November the 12th at 3:30. Get your tickets and go there and enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Thanks so much for being here
Thank you for
and
having
sharing
me
that
again.
wonderful story with us as well. We're going to take another quick break, but we're going to be coming back. We're going to be talking about concern for the hungry, because this is a great Thanksgiving month event coming up, and see how you can help. And be sure we got great other guests coming up as well, so stay tuned. I'm Ann Perilla.
Are going to be present in well-made compost in the first place. So it's an excellent way to inoculate potentially contaminated soil with those organisms. And even if it's not contaminated, it's still excellent just for soil health and soil vitality. So who composts here? Awesome. A really critical thing to do for people to be doing. Really, I believe that everybody should be composting. And if there's one skill I'd like you to take away is to learn how to compost well. Because we talked about just the amount of energy that goes into growing food for one thing, bringing it into cities, but then how it's doubly wasted when that food just gets thrown into the landfill and lots of produces methane. So it's really critical to learn how to take that organic matter and break it down into soil for use in gardening.
And here we are back again. I was just told that my necklace was making a few little bouncy noises on there, so I took it off. How's that?
That's great.
How to solve a problem, right? I'm a problem solver. You are too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a problem solver in a different way, because what you do is for many years, 30-some odd years?
37 for me, 38 for Concern for the Hungry.
38 years, the organization has seen a problem and stepped forward, and you're up to what? 2,300
Right now,
dinners?
2,300 boxes for families.
Tell us about that.
Well, we the week before last, the weekend, we signed up 2,200 families during.
And how do these families sign
They
up?
come to St. John the Evangelist Church,
Okay.
and they have to have one of 10 criteria. So we take Medicaid, we take WIC, we take Social Security disability award letters, we take referrals from ministers or rabbis or agencies. If you live in municipal housing, that qualifies you. If you have a Fidelis card, that qualifies you. So the people come in, they present that information to us, and then they tell us how many in the family, and we determine how many baskets of each size we need based on that.
Oh my goodness, so that's a lot of work, because signing up has got to be, having 2,300 people walk in, it's like, bam, that's a lot of people.
Thank goodness we have a lot of great volunteers. Yeah. And you know, Friday was busy, Saturday was not as busy, Sunday was nonstop. And so then after that, from Monday through Friday last week, we took additional people, everybody who had some reason why they weren't there. And so as of Saturday, anyone who calls goes on the waiting list. And traditionally, we fed the waiting list.
So then the planning comes, because you got to get the food.
Well, the planning is long ago.
Oh, you already did that.
We have to get the food, but we have drives going on in hospitals. Alice is participating. We have Sunnyview on board, Conifer Park, Baptist Retirement Center, the schools in Schenectady, some schools in Niskayuna, some in Scotia.
Do you work with the food bank?
Yes, and we have a humongous order coming from the food bank. A lot of it is USDA foods, which are free, but we also do buy some things there. Our turkeys are coming from Walmart, who gives us an outstanding price on 22,000 turkeys, really. So we're very fortunate. We've made some great connections over the years. We have a wonderful, wonderful committee and a lot of very dedicated volunteers.
And what happens? Do people come and pick up those boxes, or Are they delivered? How does the
Well,
process work?
what happens is next Saturday is Scout Saturday. So what happens is the Boy Scouts put out bags last weekend, which will be picked up on, I believe it's the 11th. They will bring them to the school, we'll sort them and store them in the school. And then the following Wednesday, we get together and we tape the boxes so that they can hold the food. We then, on Thursday...
So you have to actually construct the boxes?
We do. They come flat. So then Thursday, we set up the floor, bring in the things from the regional food bank, the things that we buy from Price Chopper, the things that we get from Schoharie Valley Farms. Friday, we sort it. Saturday, we pack it into boxes according to the different sizes. Sunday, the people who have signed up and are picking up themselves come down to get it. And then on Monday, the people who, those that are being delivered and those
That's before Thanksgiving, so that gives
Right.
time, if the turkey's frozen, the turkey can thaw.
Exactly.
And have you been showing some photos? Because the photos are impressive. The box photo was
Right.
incredible, yeah.
Yeah, is that the boxes?
Yeah, the box are right up there, yeah, the box is there.
The picture on the top left is the boxes the smalls that have been packed. The picture on the lower right is what's in the boxes, and then the other two are people going through the line to
I
get the
worked
boxes
it. It's
filled.
an amazing event to do.
And I've been involved for 37 years, as
Yeah.
I said. Right now I'm co-chair, and there's a few co-chairs, but each of us has a specific role to accomplish, and we will accomplish that.
Here's an odd question. Do you have vegetarian boxes?
Well, it's kind of
I mean,
hard
with a turkey, how does that work?
If somebody is a vegetarian and it's hard because the boxes, as you see, are stacked up together. If somebody's a vegetarian, they may not take the turkey, and in that case, we might give them something else, or they might just take everything else.
Yeah.
We do have some people who are gluten-free, and that too is difficult to handle because the boxes are just boxes.
Well, maybe they should just accept it and then share
Give it away,
share it with the people in their complex or something that might be able to use it as well, because it is kind of hard to, it's like I have a peanut allergy. I mean, everybody's got some kind of issues. Not everybody, but many people have issues with food.
Well, those small boxes, this year there's 1,300 smalls. So if somebody has a peanut issue, there's no way we can go through them and figure out what's going to affect them.
Yeah. See, so these are things that what you do is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, you just have to go with the flow and make it all work. So how many volunteers do you think you bring in over the course of the month?
I think over the course of between signups and the actual process, I'd say about 800.
Wow. Can you still use volunteers?
Absolutely.
So how would they get in touch with you?
The best days to come are Wednesday night.
And where would they come?
They come to Keene Elementary School, come into the back. That's box night. That's when we'll be putting the boxes together. We have to count them. We have to store them on trucks provided by Price Chopper. And then on Saturday...
It's a community event, then.
Exactly. And on Saturday, we do the actual packing of the boxes, and we need a lot of volunteers because that is also the parade night. And since they moved the parade to that day, a lot of our volunteers start vanishing in the afternoon. So the afternoon is when we really can use reinforcements.
So if we get a lot of people, then maybe
we'll get done long before the parade.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad that it hit on the same. Well, it is what it is.
Yep.
Right.
We had to adjust.
But it's on a Saturday, the parade is, and also, in case you're interested, it's this Saturday. But if they start early enough, maybe, and enough people come, and it works really well. It's just like bam, 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 and it's an amazing process that you do.
It is, and actually, I used to do the whole sorting and packing process, and fortunately, a younger person came along and said, "I want to do this." So that's great. It's nice to have that kind of
new blood come in.
New blood, right?
And I know you brought your grandson here today, and he said he helps too.
He does, and he grew up doing this.
Yeah.
He's probably started since he was 1. My kids, who are in their 30s and 40s, also started when they were young. So
over the 30-some-odd years, I think you probably see families coming back where the kids came, and now they're the parents, and they're bringing their kids.
Third generation, at least, maybe even some fourth generation.
Yeah, how exciting.
It is exciting.
I love having you on every year
and
talk about this because it's such an amazing thing. I don't know that every community does this, but all I know is that they do it here. and this is in Schenectady County, and it's an amazing event. And if you've never been there, please try and take at least one day to go in there and volunteer. You will meet the nicest people there.
Absolutely.
Don't you?
And we'll feed you.
And they even feed you. Wow. You can open up a can of beans. No, no, those go in the boxes.
Right, they go in the boxes.
Good. Peter Jones, he's the co-chairperson, one of the co-chairpersons of this wonderful event. It's called Concerned for the Hungry. They do have a website, so check out their website, see when you can go. You can also go to my Facebook page or to my website and find out all about this, so check that out as well. If you happen to miss it on the show today, but do volunteer. You know, volunteering is so important, and take that time to do it, and you'll be a better person for it, right?
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Makes my Thanksgiving worthwhile.
Absolutely. We've been talking with Peter Jones. We're going to take a quick break, talk about somebody who's looking at political corruption, and we're going to be talking about the Nellie Bly Award coming up. This is an amazing organization that he's putting together, so stay tuned.
Going to hold true. Getting carbon to nitrogen ratio correct in your compost. Does anybody know what that ratio is offhand? What's that? I usually go for more like 30 to 1. And throw some out there. Leaves. Brown leaves, dried leaves, my number one favorite.
Newspaper?
Yep, newspaper. Let me just say about leaves, the reason why I love them so much is because they're so available. In the fall, and then again in the spring when people rake out their yards and they just fill up the brown bags out on the street. We got one right over there. And they're just there for the taking. I just go around to the truck when I see them and just throw them in, and they save them throughout the year to use. They're nice and compressed inside that bag, and it's a free material. And the other thing about it is they break down really quickly. Not all record.
And here we are back again. With me I have Bruce Roeder. He was on a long time ago talking about Trader Joe's. Do you remember that?
I remember. I'm glad you do also.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Museum of Political Corruption. And there is a little corruption. And if you read, there's a fly in here too. Fly in my ointment, I don't know. But anyway, there's so much when you pick up the newspaper and you see, I can't
Got
get
it.
that.
You got
Did
it.
I get it?
I think so.
Yay.
Good for you.
And there's so much that you read about graft and corruption, and now it's Saudi Arabia. They're getting all into. I mean, it's all over. Mm-hmm. How did you get started with it, Bruce?
I got started with it just because I'm a citizen of this community, and I got as fed up with all of the headlines of corruption as anybody else. But I really wanted to do something about it. And being an educator, I teach at the College of St. Rose, mm-hmm. I felt the best way to do something about it was to construct a museum, an educational institution.
It's not a bricks and mortar yet.
No, not yet. We are working.
I said yet.
Right.
Not yet.
We are working towards that, of course.
Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize what has gone on before us, mm-hmm. so that it's the same thing. Maybe you learn from it and you can spot it if there's something going on.
Right, absolutely.
We do have a lot of whistleblowers. Thank you very much.
We do, and that's very important.
Yeah.
And you know, our museum is not just going to be about the villains, it's also going to be about the heroes too. Mm-hmm. Heroes like Nellie Bly, who was a young investigative reporter who in 1888 worked. 1888.
She couldn't even vote.
That's right.
Couldn't even vote.
She couldn't vote, but she could write about the government.
Yeah.
And she worked for the New York World down in New York, but she heard that there was corruption in Albany.
Really?
Who would have thought?
Oh, I wouldn't.
So she came on up here, and she met at the Kenmore Hotel. It still exists, still on Pearl Street.
Yeah.
She met with Mr. Ed Phelps, who said, okay, I can buy the New York State Legislature for you to kill a bill if you want to do that for the price of $1,250.
That was a lot of money then.
It was, yeah. So she took him up on the offer. He was able to effect the transaction. But when he asked for his money, Nellie Bly instead went back to her paper and wrote a whole expose on the event. So, and
Ooh,
so,
got
right.
Stung.
It was very brave of her.
Yeah, it was.
And so we are delighted to create this Nellie Bly Award.
And who's
for
getting it?
This year it is, and this is our first year, it is going to Suzanne Craig of the New York Times.
Yeah.
And she's going to be up for the award ceremony on Thursday, the 16th. We're going to have a wonderful reception. It's being catered by Nicole's, very nice.
Oh yeah, very
yes,
good food.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And we're going to follow that up with an amazing roundtable panel on government and the media, featuring, we've got an all-star lineup. It's just tremendous.
You know, and it's so important when you know, you're talking about media. Media is getting a bad name from some arenas.
Right.
We need the media. We need reporting. We need the Nellie Bly.
Of course we do. Absolutely, and that's part of what this evening is about. This is about not only a celebration of Nellie Bly's legacy and Suzanne Craig, but it's a celebration of real journalism, the people who work hard to inform the public. This is enshrined.
Investigative
yes,
reporting.
This is enshrined in our Constitution, in the First Amendment, freedom of the press. And so these are the people who keep government transparent for us. And this is going to be a wonderful opportunity to salute what they do.
Yeah. And so this is going to be at the Unitarian Universalist Society of Albany.
Right, that's
got
on.
it? Did I get it?
You got it perfect. It's 405 Washington Avenue. Right. It's right across from the downtown SUNY campus.
And will you be able to speak with Susan Craig? I mean, is she going to be at the reception that you can kind of
absolutely. She
say
will,
hello to her and
of
say
course.
Congratulations?
You know, she's a delightful person. I got the chance to know her personally over the summer. I met with her. And, you know, for our award, since Nellie Bly was charged $1,250, we decided to fix the award sum at $1,250. I met with her over the summer.
Wonderful.
Yes, and I gave her the envelope
Under the
table. This was an under-table deal. For those of you who don't know, Suzanne Craig was the one who anonymously received part of Donald Trump's tax returns in her mailbox. His she was the one who, the only one to receive them in her mailbox, and it was a big story. So
I remember that, yeah.
And I'm sure she'll be.
I didn't connect her with it, but I'm sorry I didn't.
No,
I
but
should.
She'll be delighted to tell that story, I'm sure, next Thursday night.
That's amazing, and I do want to give a shout out for his mug here, and it's the Museum of Political Corruption, Albany, New York, and it says, "Put your mug right here."
Yes.
So there's no picture there, but.
No, we're waiting for you.
So I kept my mug.
That's right.
Good, and I use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to check this out, you know, I feel that we need to be vigilant in looking at government.
Of course.
No matter where you are in government, whether it's the local, and today happens to be election day.
Yes.
Get out there and vote.
Right.
But these are the things that we have to really stay on top of, and to become complacent is the most horrible thing you can do is become complacent. Be on top of what's going on.
Right, and you can't. It's our government. It's for us to create, and that's what our museum is all about.
Yeah. When do you think you're going to get your bricks and mortar?
Oh, as soon as you write the check. Hopefully in a couple of years.
For 1,000.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
So if you get 1,000 people to give you $1,000, you're good to go.
We would be golden. Right. Right. It's tax deductible.
They're nonprofits, so
yes.
Check it out. Please do, because Bruce is so vigilant in trying to keep this momentum of his project going, and we certainly want to incorporate that into our show as often as we can to keep you going.
Right, and I would mention, please visit our website. You can get tickets there for the event, www.museumofpoliticalcorruption.org.
And you're on Twitter?
We are on Twitter too, all the time.
You
yes,
tweet a lot. Okay.
I do.
I know someone else who tweets a lot too.
We won't mention him.
Okay, so anyway, we are going to help Bruce get this going here. It's the Museum of Political Corruption, and they also are celebrating the heroes too as well. Absolutely. So it's not just all negativity. But we will be talking about Susan Craig, and this is a story I didn't know about, the tax return, so this is going to be fabulous. It
will be.
Get your tickets, and you can get them online, I'm sure, or else give them a call. He'd be glad to talk to you, I'm sure. I'm Ann Perilli. We've been talking with Bruce Roeder. He is the founder of the Museum of Political Corruption in Albany. Well, not corruption in Albany, but corruption. It's located in Albany, sort of. I don't want it to just get Albany the total name here.
That's right. Listen.
Because there's plenty in other areas.
It's plenty to go around.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Schenectady County Recycles. This is going to be an amazing segment coming up. You will not believe what you can recycle. Stay tuned and find out. You'll be able to clean your whole house this weekend. Stay tuned.
Carbon break down as readily as others. wood chips, for an example. Wood chips are an excellent source of carbon, very carbon rich, but it takes longer for them to actually break down. They're commonly used in municipal composting just because there's a lot of them available and because there's per pound more carbon in there than other materials in terms of volume. Okay, so leaves, newspaper you mentioned, into an anaerobic rotting pile of glop, and that is not compost. And if you take my workshop this afternoon, I'll teach you about rotting piles of glop, and they actually have their use, but we have to be a little more careful with them. But composting is not that. It must have oxygen, so it's really critical that air be able to infiltrate.
Okay, here we are back again. America Recycles Day. Oh, I can't wait to find out what we can recycle, because when I saw that list, Angelina, I could not believe the tinfoil off the wrap. I mean, holy moly.
Absolutely, there's so much, Anne, that you can recycle. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, good, again.
And to tell all your viewers about America Recycles Day.
Yeah, you're working with Cornell Co-op too?
Yes, I'm employed with Cornell Cooperative Extension, and I'm working with SCIAC's recycling team to put this event together.
Okay.
SCIAC is the Schenectady County Environmental Advisory Council.
Okay.
They have a recycling committee that's a bunch of dedicated volunteers. They're really excited to put this event together to celebrate America Recycles Day.
And this is going to be at the Schenectady County Community College in the parking lot?
That's right. It's one day
only.
only.
Big enough?
It's going to be a drop-off program for a lot of items that are kind of hard to recycle.
And there's no charge for this?
There's no charge. It's totally free.
Okay.
And there's going to be an education fair as well.
And that's going to be outside?
Yes, it's an outdoor event. America Recycles Day is actually a program through Keep America Beautiful, and it's really a call.
That was Linda Bird,
right?
Linda Johnson.
Absolutely.
Linda Bird Johnson, right? Okay.
It's really a call to action for communities to come together and try to engage their neighborhood with the importance of recycling. So SCIAC wanted to pull something together to celebrate that. So America Recycles Day is nationally celebrated on November 15th, but you can come out on November 11th and bring a wide variety of items.
Okay, and let's talk about this list real quick.
It's quite a list.
American flags. Why American flags? Because why would anybody want to recycle those?
Well, that's something that people are kind of unsure about how to properly handle or dispose of that. So we've been able to partner with a lot of really great community collaborations to bring this together. So American flags will be donated.
Are they going to be reused or destroyed?
Yes, they'll be donated to the VFW, and they have a program for disposal that's appropriate if your flags
and if they're still good, they'll
not
use them
in
again.
good condition, right? So on this day, we've partnered with City Mission to collect clothing, shoes, and textiles.
Oh, so City Mission will be there to accept those things.
City Mission will be there. That's right, and you can bring anything, regardless of condition.
Because they do
if you
have
torn clothing or anything like that.
Because those are recycled by the pound.
That's right. They will get recycled. We've partnered with an organization called Upstitch that collects sewing supplies and knitting supplies. So the folks can come out and bring yarn and buttons and needles.
So it's not going to be thrown out. It's going to be used.
It's going to be reused. They're a creative reuse organization.
Because we talk about recycle, reuse is one of the big things.
Absolutely. And we've partnered with so many wonderful collaborations to get this stuff reused and recycled. So we'll be collecting film plastics that are going to get recycled through Price Chopper supermarkets. And Price Chopper has also donated 100 reusable grocery shopping bags to be given away for free.
That's nice.
So if you come
I
out
use them
to
all the time.
education fair, you'll get a ton of free reusable prizes if you can answer some recycling trivia questions.
What do you do with cell phones?
Cell phones, well, if they are not in working order, they're definitely going to get recycled. But if you do have an unwanted cell phone that's still working, it's going to get donated through the YMCA.
What do you mean by still working? I mean, they all work, don't they?
Well, some of them, they go outdated and they are not really in working order. So you can bring cell phones if they're broken, if they're working, all kinds of stuff. We're collecting eyeglasses for the Lions Club. That's right. Yeah. So really just a bunch of really great community partners. I'd also like to mention that Stewart's Shop has donated 50 reusable coffee mugs that we're going to be giving away for free, and they were really great.
If you don't have one of those, get one.
Yes, because using reusable items is the best way that you can reduce waste.
I've always tried to reuse what I have. You know, somebody gives me something in a plastic container, I either pass it on to somebody with some food in it or something, you know. But I hate to throw, and I use jars all the time, glass jars for everything storage.
Absolutely, it's so important. So yeah, if you can have a reusable water bottle, a reusable coffee mug, and reusable grocery bags, you'll be set.
I do that.
And so if you come out on November 11th, we'll hook you up with all of that stuff and more. We have tons of
What's a go-go
prizes to give away.
squeeze thing? I said that before the show. What the heck is a go-go?
So yeah, there's some interesting collection programs we're going to do. So go-go squeeze packs are those on-the-go snack pouches that are commonly used for like children's applesauce or something like that.
Oh, you mean like yogurt?
Yeah, like yogurt squeeze pouches.
Okay.
That's a collaboration with Create Community Studio.
Oh, they're wonderful down on State Street.
Yeah, and they
Heather Hutchinson, is it?
Yes, and they also are collecting foil wrappers from granola bars, snack bars, and things like that. So they'll be collecting that. SICM, the Schenectady Inner City Ministries,
they ran last week.
Unopened cans of baby food. There's a real need for that in our food pantries. So you can go ahead and bring that to our event as well.
That's not something that you're going to dispose of. You're going to buy it and bring it.
Everything that the community brings will either get reused through a interesting community partnership or recycled properly.
And then you said the accessories. Now that is used for art, or is that used
yarn and sewing accessories?
Okay.
Yeah. So Upstitch will collect sewing needles, buttons, fabrics, patterns.
Oh, I'm going to bring everything to
Go ahead and bring it out, and we'll make sure that it gets recycled.
I have so much of those. I've been collecting buttons for umpteen years, you know, but I do use them, but I don't need all of them.
Absolutely.
Good.
So all kinds of great stuff. We're collecting styrofoam packing peanuts. You know, don't you just hate styrofoam? It's so persistent in our lives. So if you bring us your styrofoam packing peanuts, they're actually going to get reused through the post office.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Which is something people don't realize. You know that there is a demand for them to always have that on hand, so they can recycle that. And
I have to load up my car when I come down.
Yeah, that's right. SkiAC's recycling team, as I mentioned, is a really great network of really dedicated volunteers that have pulled this event together, and I've been involved with them to kind of bring in the education fair component as well. So it's going to be really great. It's from 10 to 2 on Saturday, November 11th.
I got it
and it's fun for all ages. You can bring your kids.
And how do we pull in there? We pull in there off of.
Yep, it's in the main parking lot of the community college. So there'll
you come
be
down
signs
State Street and
directing you to where to come.
Yeah.
Come on down to the main parking lot, and you'll be greeted by our volunteers directing you for where to go. And if you have
you don't just dump it all off. They're going to say go here and there.
We'll be able to help you with unloading your vehicle if you have a lot of heavy bags of clothing or something like that.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. I
We're
have to start
so
working
excited.
on Friday to
Absolutely.
have everything done for get ready for
and
you.
And it's so important to engage our community with the importance of recycling, and that's really why we wanted to pull this event together.
We need to be thinking consciously about that. One of the things that I think we forget is that if you don't bring it into the house, you don't have to get rid of it.
That's right.
You know, so think about what you buy and all that extra packaging. I talked to somebody once, they said, I get so mad when I buy something and it's got all this packaging. I take it out of the package in the parking lot, and then I go back and bring it to the store.
Exactly. If you can reduce waste before it even comes into your life, that's the most effective way to make a difference,
absolutely.
Right?
I'm going to say who's coming on next week, and then we'll continue to talk. This is like my job here. So next week we have Cap Rep. They're going to be talking about She Loves Me. That sounds good. We have the Holiday Lights by Albany Police Association, and they're going to be telling us all about that. The Center for Women in Government and Civil Society, we're going to be hearing from them. They're over in Albany. We're going to be talking with Saratoga Schenectady League of Women, Junior League, with their Holiday House Tour. We're going to be talking about the Troy Turkey Trot. And the Waterford Museum is having events coming up. So let's get back to recycling.
That sounds like such a great show.
It is.
It's so much fun.
I have a good time every week.
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I really want to encourage people to go down there. Will they take cardboard and newspapers? No.
No, because that's something you can recycle at home. So we're really trying to collect items that are hard to recycle and connect them to community partners that can make that happen for us.
I love the idea of the community partners.
Absolutely. So many great ones. Phillips Hardware has donated some gift certificates for prizes. Walmart has donated gift certificates for prizes at the education fair. I mean, there's tons of stuff that we're giving away.
I can't wait.
So come on down, get some
information.
I've
been a recycler all my life.
Get rid of some stuff, do it right with us, and have a great time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was brought up during an era when, you know, you had to really reuse things and not, think about waste. So anyways, thanks for what you do, Angeline. I'm so pleased to have you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good. You've been watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. Watch us next week. We got another great lineup.